What's up? Door to door. What's up? All right, so here's a question for you. If you wonder if you know what that is, or you might be wondering what the heck is he talking about or saying, post it in the comments if you know what that is, all right? Let's see if a lot of you guys have either, I'm going to leave it at that. Post in the comments, and I'm so curious to hear what you think that is. What's up? And just let's see how far that goes. All right, let's get started. And in this video, Door-to-Door Mastery, Paul Shakuri here, I'm going to deliver you the question I get asked a lot, and it's all about how late do you knock on doors? How late did you knock on doors? How late was your sale? And people want to hear typically an answer such as XYZ time. And as you know by now, if you're following my channel, I don't give just a one-worded answer to any of your questions. Because me personally, I don't learn that way. I don't learn based off of just a one-worded answer. The reality is, if you get a one-worded answer from somebody, go and try to implement it. Now, it might work for you, but what I found out with the over 10,000 people who are subscribed to the channel and our door-to-door mastery list at doortodoormastery.com is that people tend to get results when they hear things over and over again, but hear the complete details, go out into the field and start implementing it for themselves. So, number one, how long and late shall you stay out? And the answer to that is going to vary depending on what you're doing. Now, hear me out really quick. So, here's turf, let's just say, okay? And you're going out there to knock on doors. I want to say this in the best way possible without leaving the details. And maybe you're out there and you're selling, again, pest control, home security, whatever it is. You're out there and you're selling door to door. This is you. Well, how late shall you stay out so that you maximize the amount of doors you talk to, but also, what type of hours should you be working on so that you, on top of maximizing it, you don't leave too early and you don't get out there too late? Well, first of all, what type of selling are you doing? Is it a summer sales? Okay, are you currently in a summer sales program? Or is it a year-round program? 3. What are your goals? What are your goals? And now, this sounds crazy. And by the way, if you may say in the back of your mind, like, oh, great, what are my goals? Of course, I want to sell, as many of accounts as I can. Well, the reality is, go fight it all you want. You're not going to. You're not going to get out there and hit your target if you're not going to put in the back of your mind, set goals that you actually absolutely need to hit and reasons why you need to hit them. For me, as a lot of you may already know, I had to hit a 6-figure income, which is over $100,000 a year every single year. Well, how many accounts did I have to sell? And back then, doing home security, residential commercial security, getting paid, 150, then a little bit above that, it was a lot different than it is right now. So where do you want to be? How much do you want to make? What are your goals? Again, write them down. So if you want to make in a year, and I shouldn't say a year to start, okay? Because when I say a year, I'm assuming we're talking to somebody who's knocking year-round. Well, if you want to hit $100,000 in a summer program, you are obviously going to have to stay out later, start knocking earlier, and it all depends. It all depends on what type of setup are you doing. Are you just coasting? Do you own your own business and there's a certain amount of new clientele that you need to get in order to test? And here's an example. I helped a salon get from literally falling and failing to not having customers in their business to having them going out there and knocking on doors only to get a set amount of people, it was 50, new clients in so they can test where they did a low out-of-pocket cost. And this is a local company that basically they wanted to get like literally 50 new clients and see how many of those actually are repeat business, but also get feedback. So they gave a low cost for like pedicures, manicures, and a massage, a free massage included if you bought that package. And they went out there and they found it extremely rewarding. So it all depends on what you're doing. What exactly is it? And I'm going to go start with summer sales. So summer sales, typically you have 4 months, okay? You have 4 months to knock, okay, and get sales. And then you also have sometimes 1 to 2 months of pre-selling. So we'll call this pre-selling. So you have pre-selling, and then you also have 4 months. Well, if you're going to be knocking on doors in the summertime, you're going to want to make sure you get out there extremely early. Oh, but Paul, people aren't home during the day. I don't care. I can care less if people aren't home during the day, because think about it. Is everybody on this block that you talk to, and by the way, us humans, we're notorious for categorizing everybody, putting people in this everybody bucket, when the reality is it's not everybody. It's probably the majority, or sometimes even that majority is just in our head. But here we are, we're knocking on doors, okay? Everybody comes home during prime time is what people tell me all the time. And that phrase disgusts me. Oh, I'm going to knock at the best time, which is prime time. Listen, okay? You're supposed to be out there depending on your goals, depending also on which program you're selling in. You have to hit your number. This is what you should be working towards. What is your goal? What is it you need? You need, not want, you need to accomplish, okay? And this even goes on a larger scale, which I get into in my MasterDDD.com program with your actual sales teams and what they should be doing, and then also on a whole. That's for another video, another time. So if you want to hit $100,000, let's just say, and for example, out of $100,000, you're making, let's just say, $300 on every single sale. Well, just simply do the math. Do the math. You take $100,000, okay, divided by the 300, and that tells you how many sales you need. Well, how many sales does that mean in a day that you have to hit? How many sales is it in an hour? Break these analytics down. Do the math. Calculate it. Because once you do, you'll start realizing how much hustle you're supposed to really be putting out there. So that, keep in mind, if you're getting a deal every day or 2 deals every day or a deal every other day, note that the more you do it, the more people you talk to, what happens? The better you get, the higher your closing ratio goes. So what happens is it eventually catches up and you start picking up momentum and speed. And there's a lot of homes you get, referrals and the mom says they want it in their daughter's place, or they want solar for their business. And so much just passes when you're active. You got to be an active knocker. Hence why our ActiveKnocker.com program is out there. I need people. You need to be active knockers. You need to be out there creating activity. So if you're in a summer sales program, you should most definitely not be out there later than 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock, you should be at turf, and that's still pushing it. But 11 o'clock, if you want to hit a high 6-figure income with your back-end bonuses and all that fun jazz, you should definitely be out there knocking at 11 o'clock. And the energy you use at these doors and how much focus you put into there, how much time you take breaks, will actually all be put together and determine whether or not you're going to be successful at the end of the summer. So it depends there. How late will you stay out? Now, in a summer, once it starts getting dark, here's the answer to this, and pay attention to this. So in summer program, once it starts getting dark, plus 1 to 2 hours. Yeah, hear me out. If you want to make big amounts in such a shorter period of time, it means you got to condense even more, obviously, time into knocking. So once it starts getting dark, of course, if it's legally allowed in your jurisdiction, you always got to check upon that. And everybody knows I always make sure I stick by the rules. But and I won't even knock in jurisdictions if it's not. But to always check. So keep in mind, because I like staying out late to push myself. And especially if you haven't gotten a deal or you're not on target for your goals, you have to, with 100% certainty, go out there with 100% all up, I'm all in. Stay out there as long as you possibly can to do it. So dark plus 1 to 2 hours. Now, if you're just doing this year round, okay, it depends on a couple things. One, how many days a week are you actually knocking? Days a week. How many days a week? It kills me to hear that in a year-round program, a lot of you guys are doing 5 days a week. What's that? What's 5 days a week? I've never in the year-round program. And keep in mind, I knocked year-round for about 8 years straight, and I did it 6 days a week all the time. I did take 1 day off, but it wasn't all the time where I took 1 day off. A lot of times it was just to push myself to the furthest. How far can I get? Selling 24 accounts in an actual week, 10 accounts in an actual day. And by the way, my latest deal I got in that day, I got 10 deals, was actually, it was the midnight. Literally at midnight, it was getting installed, 11:40. And I was still in there while I'm writing it up, and the technician's coming at midnight and installing the job. It's what we had to do in a summer program. That was in my summer program. But once I'm in a year round and I'm knocking 6 days a week, okay, that makes it so that every time it starts to get dark, and it's dark enough to where the energy starts to change, I don't like to push too much at the doors at late because I want to keep it nice and consistent. And also it does depend on how well I've done. Like, did I already accumulate my sales? Am I satisfied? If I'm going to go home knowing I'm not satisfied, you better believe I'm going to push an extra 30 minutes to maximum about an hour. But I won't do the definitely 2 hours like, oh, it just got dark, I can care less. I'm still knocking full time. I won't do that in a year-round program. One, you don't want to get burnt out. You don't want to feel disgusting and grimy for a whole year's period of time. You do have time on the back burner. This is a fun job. Like knocking on doors, once you learn it and you know how to do it, you're most definitely going to start loving the challenge and the reset of every day. You start from zero, but you have to go out and hunt and get your accounts in an ethical manner, of course. You know, never lying, cheating, or stealing from anybody. But knowing that that's the case, if you're going to be knocking 5 days a week, then I'm sorry to tell you. And again, just like any professional athlete, the person who outworks their competition is the one who's actually going to, for the majority of the times, generate the biggest yield. And if you're going to be doing 5 days a week and your goals are going to be, $100,000 plus, should always say that plus, of course, then I'm sorry to say, but you have to stick around. You got to get out there earlier and you got to knock. And in touching back upon going out there early, remember, someone who's home on a Monday is not going to be home on a Tuesday. But somebody who's not home on a Monday, who is home on an actual Tuesday, okay, you're going to get to talk to them. So every day you're knocking and you're going out early, you're knocking on those exact same doors, you're knocking on different doors. And by the way, with ActiveKnocker.com, you will be able to actually tag the houses, not home, and all that stuff, and track specific analytics, hint, hint, so that you can help increase your sales. And by the way, we are closed for the free beta accounts. Thank you to everybody who jumped on board with that and have given us a ton of feedback. We are working on production so that now for a very, I'd have to say for a split amount of time, depending on when you watch this video, of course, reach out to me, pshack@doortodoormastery.com, or if you're specifically looking for pshack@ActiveKnocker.com, and you want to talk specifically about the Active Knocker program, or you can always reach, of course, our support team. But most definitely, yeah, reach out and I'll keep you posted on all that stuff. But yeah, 6 days a week is where on a year-round program you should be. And you should be consistently. Cold markets, great, don't care, dress up warm. Oh, but when I'm at the door and it's snowing outside, do people still let you in? Absolutely. If you're a genuine, kind person and you use my MasterDDD.com programs, teachings, to when they knock on the door and it's cold and they don't want the heat to go out, to say, do you mind if I just step in and explain to something you really quick about what we're doing in the neighborhood? These things work. It's nothing that you're lying, cheating, and stealing or tricking anybody. It's just you gotta have that courage. You gotta build that courage up. You gotta get that skill set inside your mind so that you can, inside your whole body or physique so that you can go out there and consistently do it. The stronger you get, at those doors, the more you start to talk to people, the more skills you acquire, the more skills you acquire, the more sales you get. The more sales you get, the more fun it happens. The more fun that happens, guess what? You start knocking on more doors, you start growing bigger sales teams, and so much more. And by the way, yes, Jeff, this video is especially for you. As promised, I told you I'd create a video for it. So I hope that, I know that answers the actual question. The question back to you guys is, are you going to listen to what I said in this video? Because this is exactly what I train people on that's very successful, that turns people into a success. But also understand that this is the stuff I implemented. And personally, the best one I like right now is the year-round, 6 days a week. And until you can start building up a cushion, having your bank account nice and padded, so that obviously in case of some hard times, you're able to still go out there and not knock with desperation. That's for another video of itself. Until the next time, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. And after you smash that subscribe button, click on that little notification icon so that you always get the notifications every time I make a brand new video. Do not forget, in the description, there is a link to my free video series teaching you how to open in your opener pitch, how to build up your features and benefits and what you're going to be faced by, transitioning into the close, and so much more. Grab that free video series by clicking on the link in the description. And until the next video, I will see you guys. Stay safe, be selling ethical, build that excitement and energy, and go out there and knock with utmost passion. Peace, and I'll see you out.